Say what? There's so many questions that are crazy that clients ask their realtor. And in all these years, all these decades, right? You've gotten so many different things that people have asked you. So I'm just going to like kind of put you on the hot seat and say, Shauna, tell me some of these crazy things that happen with your clients.
So I think one that's kind of a little unusual is, hey, Shauna, would you be free on Thursday? My husband's out of town and I need to go to an appointment. Okay. Yeah, of course. What's the appointment? I am doing in vitro.
Okay.
And
I need my realtor present.
I'm like, wait a minute. Like the real, like it's happening, like, yes. So that was something that I was asked and I did that was really crazy.
So you participated in in vitro fertilization?
Yes.
But not as the
I was the husband.
You were like holding hands?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I was. And yeah. So that was
But that you really enjoyed that though.
Oh my gosh.
So it was a crazy
opportunity.
question.
Yes. A lot of opportunities come from these what we call crazy things, but and we should write a book. But we do get it's almost like when you buy a house, maybe you've relied on your realtor so much and they've done such a great job that all of a sudden they don't feel competent to even handle the smallest of tasks. So, people will call and say, hey, my garbage disposal, it won't turn on. Okay.
Yeah, and it's weird. I think you're totally hitting something that happens is their brain like shuts off. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Chat in now with some of the weirdest things that you've been asked as a realtor.
Like all of us could write books. It's really crazy. I know that one of our agents had to go and get the dogs. Hey, could you go pick up my dogs in the house because we have a showing and they're running everywhere. And went to pick up the dogs and they run out the door. And I think we've all experienced chasing animals out and down the street. We had a situation where we had a squirrel got in the house and it was, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, when you go through this and then you close, your job is not over. You've developed a relationship with people, and we've had some of our best friends come from being a client of ours. So, you do get a lot of crazy things that happen throughout the transaction, and it's really, really bizarre, Hey, there's a mouse. What do I do? Hey, and it's just funny that the ability to think kind of closes when you close on your house, that closes too. It's really strange. And we all give them the advice and take their call at all hours and help them out long after the sale.
So the things that they would be asking after the close, and we hear it like so often, right, are all these different things like, how do I set up this? And then pick whatever that is, utilities, all these things. Like we have services that we do that with, right? But then like all of a sudden...
Yeah, how do I set my utilities up?
Like those bigger utility connection companies, they really saved a lot of questions because it became all of that, right? And so that's really kind of minimized those questions over time. But then it's all types of different things like how do I hook up? How do I install? And then they would go through this litany of questions around like, how do I hook up or how do I install or what should I do or how do I turn on?
Recently could you come over and look at my lights? Closed on the house and I noticed some of the lights were different colors. Could you come over and, could you tell me what color that you use in your house? Sure. And then could you come over and just see that all my lights are the same color?
No, I don't know if that's... they're definitely asking you a question, but people don't necessarily know the color of their lights, if it's cool lights, if it's warm lights or whatever. But like the internet actually does a really good job of explaining that. And that's one of the things that people forget. It's so easy to text your realtor or call them and ask them that question and get the answer back. then for you to go online and just type in like,
You know how you used to call it a leave behind, like when you would break up with someone and that person would leave something, so they would have an excuse to come back?
Yeah, you did that all the time with me.
We never broke up.
No, I know, but like after the first date, you like leave something behind, like one glove.
You left
or
your
something
business
like
card.
I left my business card?
Yes, you would always leave a business card, and it would just said Mike Acquisto. Like,
well, I need you to
do?
be able to get in touch with me.
Yeah. Anyway,
And you
but
did.
yeah, what were we talking about?
Do you have my number? So crazy things that clients ask their realtors, right? And all these different items. But what it comes down to is you ultimately, as an
It's
agent,
kind of like the leave behind. They want a reason to maybe call you back, or just I don't know, or maybe they've just kind of lost focus.
And I think the reason that this happens, so if you unpeel why they ask you, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do I connect this? How do I turn this on? Where is this? How do I get a garage door remote? How do I program this? Who should I use for security? Like all those different questions, right? And why that really happens is because they became dependent upon you. They were very happy with the service. They truly, right? They cared about what you did. And they started to rely heavily on you, and yet they fell into this cycle of anything to do with the house.
It's an honor to call you back.
Yeah, no, it really should be. And so you've done a great job to build that bond. And they think anything house, I call, right? And that's kind of what they do. So if you are getting those crazy questions, what I really feel is that you're a great agent. And that's actually the answer.
Something I learned from Paulette is Paulette said years and years ago, Paulette Green.
Can you use her voice and say it, please?
No.
Come on.
I could never.
Can you, no impersonation?
No. So Paulette would say, well, I could do it.
All right, go ahead.
You're like,
Girl. She would start with that?
You need to make sure, your goal at the end of this transaction should be, that client should feel like they could not have done this without you. And that's, kind of her thing. And that's how she's kind of done her business all these years. And, when you're putting forth all the effort and doing that and taking their calls and, you're right. After the sale, if somebody calls you for the smallest of things, I have a mouse in my house, could you come help me out? Just be honored. I know it gets frustrating if it's 9:00 at night and someone's home, their husband's out of town, and they have a mouse, they don't know what to do. But you should look at it as, wow, I'm the first person they call. So, this is another side of this that I'll say. We were at dinner one Friday night a couple of years ago, and I kept getting a call from this client, and they called me for everything. And he kept calling, and I was like, why are they calling on a Friday night? We're not even, I don't know. We weren't even doing a transaction at the time. And it ended up being the wife. And the husband had passed away, and I was the first person that she called. She had to call me. What do I do? She was very dependent upon him. And it was, it's, I don't want to cry, but.
Yeah, I was there when it kept calling, and we're like, man, it's like Friday night or Saturday night, and we're out on a date, and we're like, this person keeps calling, and we try to disconnect occasionally, and it like, the way that the phone.
But I'm like, Mike, I can't. I got to talk. I got to take the call.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, I agree, and it's totally good. But so thanks, Paulette, for some good advice.
Yeah.
And if anyone else has some amazing Paulette Green stories, go ahead and check that in right now. She's an inspirational person, right?
Yes, I love her.
Is she on your Mount Rushmore?
Yeah. I'd say yeah.
Okay. So Shauna has a Mount Rushmore of business women, and specifically realtors, and Paulette's somebody that you definitely draw inspiration from.
I do.
So thank you to Paulette. And I think that's about good for this topic. But just remember, if you are getting those questions, it's actually because people care.
Be honored. Be flattered. And, if they never called you again, I'd be upset. So.